The woman who was never waiting for him. Before we begin, if you enjoy emotional Old West love stories filled with secrets, sacrifice, and second chances, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who loves Western romance, and subscribe for more original stories. By the time the sun climbed above the eastern ridge of Silver Hollow, the town was already awake. The wooden walkway outside the general store groaned beneath the weight of boots. Horses shifted in the hitching rail. A wagon rolled slowly through the dusty street, its wheels complaining against the dry ground. Inside the store, Clara Bell stood behind the counter with an open ledger. She had been there since sunrise. A sack of flour sat open beside her. 3 boxes of nails rested near the scale. A small row of brass weights was arranged in perfect order. 2 pounds of nails, a customer said. Clara nodded. She didn't waste words. She measured the nails, adjusted the scale, wrapped them in brown paper, and accepted the coins without looking up. The customer left. Another man stepped forward. Lamp oil. Clara reached beneath the counter. Half a gallon? The man nodded. She filled the container, sealed it, and placed it on the counter. That was how most people knew Clara Bell. Efficient. Quiet. Reliable. She had worked at the Silver Hollow trading post for nearly 6 years. She knew every price in the store, every account in the ledger, and nearly every secret in town. But nobody knew much about her. She had arrived in Silver Hollow with one small trunk and a determination not to depend on anyone. Since then, she had turned down every man who had asked her to leave. Some had offered farms. Some had offered comfortable homes. One had even offered to take her east where the streets were paved and the buildings were tall. Clara had refused them all. People had started calling her difficult. Then stubborn. Then foolish. Clara never corrected them. She had learned long ago that people usually believed what they wanted to believe. Late that morning, a horse approached the trading post. The sound was different from the usual traffic. Slow. Measured. Confident. The conversations outside became quieter. Clara looked up. A man entered through the open door. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and dressed in a dark riding coat marked lightly with dust. His boots were worn, but polished. His hat shadowed most of his face. He stood just inside the doorway until his eyes adjusted to the dimness. Then he looked toward the counter. Clara met his gaze. Good morning. Morning, he replied. His voice was calm. He walked toward the counter. Mr. Bell still owns this place? He does. And you manage the accounts? I do. The man studied her. Not rudely. Not warmly. Just carefully. My name is Everett Hale. Clara already knew. Everyone in Silver Hollow knew Everett Hale. He owned the largest ranch in the valley. His cattle covered thousands of acres west of town. His house had more rooms than most families had people. His name carried weight in every bank from Silver Hollow to the county seat. Clara lowered her eyes to the ledger. How can I help you, Mr. Hale? He placed a folded paper on the counter. I need these numbers checked. She opened it. A list of supplies. Feed. Fencing materials. Medicine. Grain. Clara began calculating. Everett watched her work. She did not make mistakes. When she finished, she turned the paper around. Your total is $38.20. He looked at the number. Then at her. You're certain? Yes. He smiled slightly. Most people would double-check. I already did. For the first time, something changed in his expression. Not amusement. Interest. He took the paper. Thank you, Miss Bell. Clara nodded. Everett turned and walked out. The bell above the door moved once after he was gone. Clara looked toward the street. His horse waited beneath the bright sun. Then she returned to her ledger. She did not know that half the town had watched him enter. She did not know that by sunset, 3 different people would claim Everett Hale had come to Silver Hollow specifically to see her. And she certainly did not know that the real reason would be far more complicated. That afternoon, another familiar figure walked through the door. Samuel Reed. Most people called him Sam. He was not wealthy. He owned a small repair shop near the creek and spent most of his days fixing saddles, wagon wheels, and anything else the people of Silver Hollow managed to break. His clothes were usually dusty. His hat was always bent. And his hands carried the marks of honest work. Afternoon, Clara. She looked up. Afternoon, Sam. I need a new length of rope. Again? The last one gave up. Or you pulled it too hard. Sam smiled. Could be both. Clara took a coil from the shelf and placed it on the counter. Sam tested it. Feels stronger. It is. You always say that. And I am usually right. He laughed quietly. For a moment, neither of them said anything. Outside, a wagon rattled past. Clara counted the coins he placed on the counter. Sam watched her. You hear about Everett Hale? Clara didn't look up. Everyone has heard about Everett Hale. He came here this morning. So I noticed. People are saying he has business in town. He bought nothing. Sam smiled. Then maybe his business wasn't with the store. Clara finally looked at him. Are you trying to tell me something? No. Good. Sam picked up the rope. I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe. He paused. Maybe? You may break that one too. His smile faded into something softer. Then I'll need another. He left. Clara watched the door close. For one brief second, her hand rested on the place where his fingers had been. Then she pulled it away. The next morning, Silver Hollow was already talking. Everett Hale had returned. This time, he did not stop at the store by accident. He walked directly inside. Clara was writing in the ledger when the bell rang. She didn't need to look up. Good morning, Mr. Hale. Miss Bell. He removed his hat. That small gesture made the room quieter. A customer near the flour sack suddenly became very interested in the price of beans. Everett approached the counter. I spoke with your employer. Clara closed the ledger. About? You. Her expression remained still. Everett placed both hands on the counter. I've watched this town for some time. That sounds uncomfortable. He almost smiled. You keep this place running better than the man who owns it. I don't think he would appreciate that. He knows it. Clara said nothing. Everett continued. My ranch is growing. I need someone who understands accounts, supplies, schedules, and people. You can hire a clerk. I could. Then why are you here? Everett looked directly at her. Because I don't want a clerk. The room became completely silent. Clara's fingers rested against the edge of the ledger. Everett spoke carefully. I am offering you a position at my ranch. What kind of position? My wife. Nobody moved. Outside, a horse stamped against the ground. Clara stared at him. Everett continued before she could answer. You would have your own room. Your own accounts. A place of respect. You would not be expected to sit quietly and wait for me to return from the range. His voice remained calm. I know you are capable of more than that. Clara studied him. You don't know me. I know enough. No, Mr. Hale. You know how I count nails and keep a ledger. I know you arrive before everyone else. She said nothing. I know you never leave a task unfinished. Her eyes narrowed slightly. I know you don't ask anyone for help. That sounds like criticism. It isn't. Everett paused. I am not offering you a fantasy, Miss Bell. I am offering you a life that would give you room to become something more than the woman behind this counter. Clara looked toward the open door. The sunlight outside was harsh. Bright. Unforgiving. What makes you think I want something more? Everett had no answer. That was the first time she saw uncertainty in him. He reached inside his coat and placed a folded note on the counter. Take 7 days. 7? After that, I need an answer. You seem very certain I will say yes. I am not certain. Then why give me only 7 days? Because I have learned not to wait forever for something that may never come. Clara looked at him. For one brief moment, she wondered if he was speaking about marriage. Or about something else entirely. Everett put his hat back on. Good day, Miss Bell. Good day. He left. The moment the door closed, the store seemed to breathe again. Someone near the back shelf whispered. 7 days. Clara opened the ledger. The page remained exactly where she had left it. She picked up her pencil. But this time, the numbers blurred. That evening, Sam came in. He carried a broken saddle strap. Think you can fix this? Clara took it. Yes. Good. She began examining the leather. Sam leaned against the counter. You heard? I heard. About Hale? Yes. He made you an offer. He did. Sam nodded. That is a good offer. Clara looked up. Is it? Sam hesitated. For most people. And for me? He looked away. That depends on what you want. Clara studied him. Do you know what I want? Sam gave a quiet laugh. No. Then you should not answer for me. You're right. The silence between them grew. Sam picked up the repaired strap. 7 days. The words followed her into the night. By the 4th day, Silver Hollow had already decided what Clara Bell would do. People treated her differently. Mrs. Darnell, who ran the boarding house, began asking questions about dresses. The butcher suddenly offered her credit she had never requested. 2 women stopped her in the street and asked whether she had seen the house at the Hale Ranch. Clara answered none of them. At the store, she continued working. But she began sorting her belongings. A spare apron. A stack of old receipts. A few personal letters. A small silver hairpin. She placed them into a wooden box. Then she stopped. The box remained open. She had no idea where she was going. That night, rain finally came to Silver Hollow. Not a storm. Just a slow, gentle rain that darkened the dust. Clara stood beneath the awning outside the store. Across the street, the livery lanterns swayed in the wind. The stable door opened. Sam stepped outside. He saw her. She saw him. Neither moved. Rain fell between them. Sam took one step forward. Then stopped. Clara waited. He looked as though he had something to say. But after a moment, he turned and returned to the stable. The door closed. Clara remained beneath the awning until the rain stopped. The following morning, a package arrived. It came from the Hale Ranch. Clara knew before opening it. Inside was a dress. Cream-colored. Expensive. Elegant. The sort of dress meant for a woman who would be introduced as Mrs. Everett Hale. Clara lifted it from the box. The fabric was beautiful. There was no denying that. But when she held it against herself, it felt like someone else's life. That afternoon, she tried it on. The dress fit well enough. But Clara stood in front of the mirror and felt nothing. No excitement. No happiness. No fear. Only distance. She removed it. Folded it. And placed it back in the box. The sixth night passed without sleep. The next morning, Clara closed the ledger. She placed the store key on the counter. Then she stared at it. For 6 years, that key had been in her pocket every day. Now it looked strangely small. By noon, Everett Hale arrived. His horse stopped outside. The entire town seemed to notice. Clara stood behind the counter. The door opened. Everett entered. Miss Bell. Mr. Hale. He removed his hat. I came for your answer. Clara looked at the key. Then back at him. Before she could speak, the door opened again. Sam Reed stepped inside. He stopped when he saw Everett. For a moment, the two men looked at one another. Everett turned toward him. Mr. Reed. Hale. Sam's voice was controlled. Clara felt the room tighten. Everett looked back at her. I will wait outside. He walked out. Sam remained near the door. Clara looked at him. You came for something? Sam shook his head. No. Then why are you here? He had no answer. Clara waited. Finally, he said, Eli told me. Eli told you what? That you've been waiting for me. Clara went still. The words struck harder than she expected. Waiting? Sam stepped closer. That's what he said. And you believed him? I didn't know what to believe. Clara looked away. For years, she had imagined this moment. Not this exact moment. But a moment when Sam would finally understand. She had waited for him to say something. Anything. She had waited through summers. Through winters. Through the years when every other man in town had asked for her hand. Sam had always been there. Close enough to touch. Far enough to remain unreachable. Clara's voice was quiet. Do you know why I never left? Sam looked at her. No. Because I thought you would ask me to stay. His expression changed. Clara continued. I thought one day you would look at me and realize I was not just the woman who sold you rope. Sam swallowed. I did realize. When? Too late. Clara laughed softly. There was no happiness in it. You have always been late, Sam. I know. You were late when I left the boarding house every morning and walked past your shop. I know. You were late when every man in town asked me to marry him. Sam lowered his eyes. I know. And now Everett Hale has given me 7 days, and suddenly you realize I might leave. Sam's jaw tightened. I don't want you to leave. Clara looked at him. That is not the same as asking me to stay. He looked as though the words had struck him. Then, slowly, he stepped closer. Clara. She waited. Sam took a breath. I don't have a ranch. She said nothing. I don't have a grand house. Still nothing. I don't have a fortune. His voice grew quieter. But I have spent 6 years pretending that seeing you every morning was enough. Clara's eyes softened. It wasn't? No. Then why did you never say anything? Because I thought you deserved someone better. Clara stared at him. Someone richer? Someone more certain. She looked toward the window. Outside, Everett stood beside his horse. He was waiting. Not impatiently. Not angrily. Just waiting. Clara looked back at Sam. You don't get to decide what I deserve. I know. You don't get to disappear behind your work and expect me to wait forever. I know. And you don't get to speak now only because another man has offered me a future. Sam's eyes met hers. I know. Clara took a slow breath. Then what are you asking? Sam looked at her. For once, there was no hesitation. I'm asking you to stay. Clara said nothing. I know I should have asked years ago. Yes. I know I have no right to expect an answer. No. I know Everett Hale can give you things I never could. Clara's expression changed. That isn't what I asked for. Sam looked at her. What did you ask for? Clara stepped around the counter. For the first time in 6 years, she walked toward the door without taking the store key. She stopped beside him. I asked for someone who would choose me before he was afraid of losing me. Sam closed his eyes briefly. I should have chosen you sooner. Yes. Is it too late? Clara looked at the man standing outside. Then at Sam. Then at the key resting on the counter. She had believed her decision would be simple. It wasn't. Everett Hale offered security. A home. Respect. A life that looked perfect from the outside. Sam offered something far more uncertain. A small shop. Long days. Dust. Hard work. And a man who had finally learned how to speak. Clara walked outside. Everett straightened. Miss Bell. She stopped in front of him. I have an answer. Everett studied her face. Then his eyes moved toward Sam. He understood. Not everything. But enough. Mr. Reed, Everett said. Sam stepped outside. The two men stood facing one another. Everett looked back at Clara. I hope you are certain. Clara nodded. I am. Everett gave a small smile. Then I hope he knows what he has been given. Sam looked at Clara. I do now. Everett mounted his horse. Before leaving, he looked at Clara one final time. You would have made a fine wife. Clara smiled faintly. And you would have made a fine husband. He nodded. Then he rode away. The town watched him disappear beyond the ridge. For several moments, nobody spoke. Then Sam looked at Clara. So? You're staying? Clara glanced toward the store. The store is still here. That wasn't what I meant. She looked at him. Are you asking me to stay? Sam nodded. Properly this time. Clara allowed herself a small smile. Then asked properly. Sam took off his hat. He stood in the middle of the dusty street, beneath the bright afternoon sun, with half of Silver Hollow pretending not to listen. Clara Bell, he said, would you stay here with me? She looked at him. For how long? His face became serious. As long as you'll have me. Clara let the silence remain. Then she stepped closer. That's better. Sam smiled. Is that a yes? Clara reached into her pocket. She took out the store key. For a moment, Sam thought she was going to hand it to him. Instead, she placed it back in the lock. Then she turned toward the store. I still have work to finish. Sam followed. Does that mean yes? Clara looked over her shoulder. It means you can help me unload the flour. He smiled. I can do that. And the broken shelf. I can fix it. And the back door. I can fix that too. Clara stopped. And Sam? Yes? Don't wait 6 more years to tell me something important. He looked at her. I won't. Inside the store, the afternoon light stretched across the wooden floor. The ledger remained open. The key remained in the lock. And Clara Bell returned to the counter. But this time, she did not stand alone. Sam moved beside her. Not in front. Not behind. Beside her. And for the first time, Silver Hollow understood something Clara had known for years. She had never been waiting for the richest man in the valley. She had never been waiting for a grand house. She had never been waiting for someone to rescue her. She had been waiting for one man to finally understand that love was not about claiming someone before they left. It was about choosing them while they were still free to walk away. And when Sam finally understood that, Clara did not need to be rescued. She simply chose him. The sun lowered behind the western hills. The town grew quiet. The horses settled. The dust softened beneath the evening light. And inside the little trading post, Clara Bell closed the ledger. Sam stood beside her. "Tomorrow," he said, "I'll come early." "You always say that." "This time I mean it." She smiled. "Then tomorrow we'll tell." And the next morning, for the first morning, for the first time in 6 years, Clara did not have to wonder whether someone would come back. Because someone had finally chosen to stay. If you enjoyed this emotional Old West romance, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel for more original Western love stories, frontier romances, and unforgettable tales from the American frontier. To Be to Connection.